Hey, what's up everybody? This is Joe. Welcome to another how-to origami tutorial, and in this video I will teach you how to make the Origami Bat finger puppet. Alright, so I just have a few quick things to say before we get started. One is that this is a relatively complex tutorial. If you're new to origami, this is probably not the best tutorial for you to start on. However, I will do my best to explain things thoroughly. That said, I move at a pretty quick pace, and I do that because otherwise my videos get absurdly long. So if you want to slow down, then you can pause this video at any time. There's also a gear icon, and if you click on that gear icon, there's an option for slow-mo, and that allows you to go back and watch something I do in slow motion. But generally, I try and keep it as clear as I can. If you need something clearer, those tools will allow you to figure out what I'm doing easier. So I just wanted to say that up front. Okay, so now let's get started. What we're gonna do to start is we're gonna fold the diagonals. So we're gonna fold from corner to corner. Alright, and I say this in most of my tutorials, it's very good to have nice sharp creases. So take your time and line up the edges before you make a fold, and once you've for sure lined up your edges, use something rigid like your fingernail to press down on the crease to make sure that you have a very solid, confident fold, just like that. Alright, so now we folded in both of our diagonals, and what this shows us is where the center point is, right there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right point and I'm going to fold that in to the center crease, but I'm going to mark fold. Alright, so if you don't know what that is, I will show you. So put this corner into the center, and you just want to lightly press right here. Alright, that way when you unfold it you can see where that is, but we don't want a full crease. So now fold the point back into that mark fold. Alright, make sure the creases are lined up. Alright, and then now you do a full fold right here. Alright, do the same thing on the left side. Mark fold. And complete fold. Alright. So now that we're here, what we're going to do is we're going to take the top corner, the top point right here, and I'm going to fold it down so that this edge runs along the edges here that we just folded in. Alright, and as I do so, I'm always going to be careful to make sure that these edges, or these creases, continue to stay aligned. Alright, and then crease. Alright, from this point we're going to flip it over. Alright, and we're going to do this kind of fold very often in this tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this fold back down to this horizontal crease, but I want to kick the bottom layer out because I don't want to fold that layer. Alright, see what I just did? I just flipped the bottom layer out. Alright. And now line the edge to the crease. And fold. Alright, now flip it over again. We're going to do the exact same thing except on the other side. So we just did, this was our top corner. Now we've rotated and flipped it over, we're going to do the exact same thing with this as our top corner. Alright, so now you should have a shape that looks like this. I'm going to show you this view so that you know what it looks like. Alright, so this is what it should look like. Now I'm going to flip it over and rotate it. Alright, so now we have this view right here. We're going to work kind of backwards at this point. So normally you kind of do the form and then you do details. We're going to start with the details of the face and the feet, Then we're gonna work on forming the body, all right? So what we're gonna start with is the face. So it doesn't matter, both sides are the same, but I'm gonna choose this side to be the face. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this top edge and fold it down almost to this point. See this point right here? It's gonna be like maybe 2 millimeters above that, 2 or 3 millimeters. That doesn't have to be precise, but the whole idea is that it's not all the way down to that corner. All right, fold that down and unfold. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this up. So you see how this opens up. All right, let's zoom in. All right, right here, this opens up and flattens out like this. All right, I'm trying to show this as slowly and clearly as possible. And what we want is this edge of the paper to run from the center crease out here. There's gonna be a little flap sticking out, but that's okay. All right. So I'm going to make that fold like that. Okay, so see how this edge is kind of at an angle? That's exactly what we're looking for. All right, do the same thing on this side. All right, perfect. It should look like this. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it over. Hold on, let me show you something. So we see we have these two kind of flaps sticking out here. Our objective is to get rid of those. So now let's flip it over, okay? And I'm just gonna take this layer right here and peel it back until I see that edge right there. Okay, so I'm just folding it back to create some space. All right, now this little tiny corner right here, I'm gonna fold that down so that we can't see it from the front. All right, so now do the same thing on the other flap on the left. Fold it over and fold the corner down. Okay, so now I want to hide both of these little flaps. So if you'll notice that these open up to create little pockets here, I can reverse this whole fold right here from a valley to a mountain, and it'll tuck inside here out of the way. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take that whole fold I just did, invert it, and stick it behind. All right, so that's what it should look like. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. All right, so that's what it looks like. Now we're going to flip it back over. So this is what the face should look like. Now we're going to move on to the legs. So I'm going to move all the way down here to the legs. And if you remember last time, we folded this edge to the just below the point, or just above it in the other case. This time we're actually going to fold the edge to that point, okay? So go ahead and do that. Okay, and just like before, we're going to open these up, okay? This time it should even out and there should be no slant. You can open and squash these flat. Okay, and crease when you're done. Now you should get this square at the bottom right here in a diamond orientation. Okay, so now this is a little bit tricky, but I will show it a few times slowly and hopefully you'll be able to get it. So there's these two flaps right here, okay? but I don't want any of those to show up. So I'm gonna fold it down and vertical, okay? Now they're sticking up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these 2 layers of paper right here and I'm gonna pull outwards, and you'll notice they start to tuck down. This crease right here, I'm gonna turn that into a mountain fold facing me and push the whole thing underneath. Okay, see how it's swinging underneath? Once it's pushed back, I should be able to close these back in with those 2 flaps completely out of the way. Alright, so I'll show that to you one more time. Alright, so we have this flap right here. I'm just going to open it up, push it under, make that into a mountain fold, and close it. Alright? And finalize your creases when you're done. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over. We're almost done with the legs. I'm going to take them both and pull them outwards like this. Okay, now I'm going to fold this edge into this crease on the right side. I'm starting with the right leg. Okay, just like that. Unfold, bring it back down. I'm going to do the same thing, fold this edge into that crease. I'm just refolding the same crease, but in a different direction. Alright? So now, if you look at the bottom of this foot, you'll notice that it opens into 2 compartments, kind of like this. I'm going to choose this compartment. Alright, it doesn't really matter, but this is the one I'm choosing. And I'm going to squash it downwards like that. Okay? Now the last step is taken straight out of the crane tutorial. If you've ever made the crane, you know how to do this. So I'm going to take these edges right here and I'm going to fold it into the center crease of the foot. I'm going to fold this up like that. And then I'm going to fold this one to the center crease. Like this. Alright, unfold, and now you should be able to take this tip and push it backwards. Alright, so I'm going to try and do this without covering it up. Take this point, push it backwards, and let the sides collapse inwards. So it should start to close in like this. Alright, so here's the end product. So basically, I'll show it to you one more time. Basically, I'm taking this foot and I'm pushing it backwards and closing the sides inwards, and it collapses down like this. Alright, once you do that, just fold it outwards and we're done. Alright, now I'm going to repeat all of that on the left leg. Alright, so now the feet are done. So let's flip it back over. Okay, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to zoom back out again. Alrighty. So now what we're going to do is we're going to give the body a little bit of edge and definition so that it's not just a box. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge and I'm going to tuck a small layer underneath. So starting from here, it's going to be a fold. Sorry, I'm not being clear. It should be a fold that's going to run all the way along the body. It's a very narrow fold that essentially means we're just going to fold a small edge back. Alright, so I'm going to fold a small piece of the edge back on itself like that. It's going to run along the whole length of the body. It's usually best to start at the foot I just started in the middle to try and show you what I was doing. Alright, so this fold gives the body a little bit of separation from the wings, and it also narrows the face. So the face doesn't look as blocky anymore, which is nice. However, if you notice, the bottom still has a corner. So what I like to do is I like to just take this corner and tuck it under. It's kind of hard to do since there's a lot of paper here. It's very thick. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. It'll still look great. But I just like to add the effect of having a little bit more roundness to it. So I just tuck the corner underneath. Nothing complicated. It's just hard to do with so many layers of paper. Alright, so do the same thing on this edge. Alright, so now that step should be done, and you'll notice that the body sticks out more and it has a rounder appearance at the bottom and slightly narrower face. That's exactly what we're going for. Okay, so now we're going to actually start forming the body shape and the wings and all of that. Okay, so you'll notice we have this horizontal crease running right here. What we need to do is turn that into a mountain fold. Need a mountain fold along that real quick. Just like that. And finalize. Okay, so now you'll see one side has the feet, one side has the face. What we're going to do now is we're going to take the face side and fold it back up towards the edge. So I'm essentially doing the same kind of thing as I did earlier, where I'm kicking out one layer. That's the feet. But I'm folding the head upwards to that crease like this. Okay, and I'm just going to lower it until the head sits right on that crease. So you'll notice I took this fold right here and I'm sticking it underneath the chin right here, and I'm nesting it right underneath the head. Once it rests and it's aligned on both sides, then I can flip it over and fold. Alright, just gonna double check real quick. Alright, so this is what I have. So on this side, we have this kind of stretch right here we want to get rid of. You can see it easily here. We want to get rid of those things. So it should be pretty easy to feel right here. There should be two lumps that indicate the edge of the body. So we want a fold that goes from that point all the way up to the wings that allows us to hide this paper. So basically I'm going to open this up, and from that point right here, you can put your finger down so that you know where that point is. I'm just going to push this forward so that we have a crease going from here to here. Alright, and then with this little bubble right here, we're just going to fold this back out of the way. It doesn't really matter how you do this, however, it just needs to get rid of this overlapping flap right here. So that's what I did. I just pressed it flat over to the side so that there's a crease right along the side of the head. Again, it doesn't really matter as long as there's no more flap there. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Alright, so we just finished that part. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for this point right where the feet touch, kind of the heel area, and I'm going to do a mountain fold right there. So I'm going to mountain fold, and I'm going to make sure my creases are aligned on this side so that I'm not lopsided. Alright, fold like that. See that? Okay, now I'm going to do pretty much the same fold again. As we keep doing, I'm going to fold this edge up to this edge, but I don't want the feet involved, so I'm going to pop them out like that. Alright, so I'm going to fold it to that point. And again, remember to keep the creases in line. Alright, fold. Just like that. Okay, now flip it over. So now you can see we actually have a pretty decent looking bat starting here. All we have left to do is the details of the wing. That should be pretty quick. I'm going to show you how to do it on this side, and then I will expect you to remember or go back and be able to do on this side, just because it would take me a really long time if I did once on one side and then all over again on another side. Alright, so to start the wings, what we're going to do is we're going to fold this corner, this point, all the way down to this point where the body and the wing meet, right there. Okay, give this a good fold. And from here you'll notice that the edge of this paper creates a line here. Mountain fold along that. And you should fold through all layers, so fold through everything on the back. Alright, now unfold those, and we should have this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything, basically these two angles right here, and I'm just going to start slicing folds between them to create webbing. I'm going to do 3 more folds in between. So I'm going to bisect this, which just means I'm going to make a line that goes right down the middle of that angle. Alright, and then I'm going to bisect these two. So I'm going to fold this to that edge again, or the edge to the crease, sorry, not being specific. Alright, and then this one lastly. And so for this one, here's a quick, easy kind of way to do this. So I want to bisect this angle just like I bisected this angle, but I can't fold the edge to really anything because I don't have any landmark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mountain fold both of those creases and then push down on it. See, I'm pushing down and pinching these together. Alright, I can pinch the creases together, line them up, and then squash it down. Alright, and then once I unfold, you'll see that I folded a perfect bisecting line right there. Okay, so this section is done. Now I'm going to do it to this section in pretty much the same way. I'm going to take these mountain folds, put them together, line them up, and crunch. Alright. And again. And again. Alright, so now, focus, there we go. We have the wing here. Alright, that looks pretty good. I don't like this flat space right here though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bisect this angle going upwards. So same thing, I'm going to mount and fold along the edge of the body, and this is already mount and fold, and then I'm going to press down and pinch them together. Alright, it's crumpling a little bit at the bottom. That's not good. That's a problem. Alright, so now that's bisected. Okay? So we have two things left. We have to give a kind of jagged appearance to the wings, and then I'm going to make the thumb. So if you know anything about the anatomy of a bat, these are kind of like fingers. Basically the wing is a hand and then the thumb is up top. Random anatomy in there. Anyway, so what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to take this span right here and kind of give it a webbed look. So I'm going to push down on the edge as I close it, okay? So what it should end up doing is creating this kind of webbed looking thing right across like that, okay? And I'm going to actually do that one more time. So if we look from the top, now I'm going to push this edge backwards like that. It's just little details. Again, if something's too small or too difficult, skipping it's not a bad thing to do unless it's a really critical step, which this isn't. We're really working on appearance now. Alright, so now that I've folded that, I'm just going to press it down. Okay, so that gives it a cool kind of webbing appearance. Alright, so for these folds right here, I'm going to fold them accordion style. So I'm going to start with the valley fold here, mountain fold, valley fold, and so on all the way down. Alright. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so to give it a jagged appearance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take every mountain fold right here, and I'm going to do essentially the same thing we did here. Only once though. I'm going to take this and tuck it backwards so that when I fold it, it'll have a kind of jagged appearance. So tuck it under, and then press it in on itself. Okay, so now that gives it a more jagged appearance. I'm going to do that on the other two mountain folds here. Alright, now when you're done with that and you spread the wing out, you should see it has a kind of jagged looking appearance. Now, final step is to create the thumb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this top, and with these still in accordion style, I'm going to grab the top here. Oh, focus. Come on, camera. There we go. I'm going to grab the top, and I'm just going to pinch and roll it out into a kind of point. Alright, to a little hook of a thumb. There, just like that, okay? So once I've done that, now I'm going to spread the wing out some more to kind of lock that in place. Alright? That's what that looks like. So now go ahead and do all of that on this side. If you can't remember everything, that's totally fine. Just go back and re-watch this and repeat it on the other wing. Alright, so once you've finished the last wing, your bat should be complete. The last thing I like to do before I'm done is to try and make the face a little bit more rounded by tucking the chin. So this kind of point right here, I just tuck that underneath in a small fold like that. That just gives the face a little bit more of a round appearance. More realistic, less boxy. Alright, so that's the full tutorial for how to fold the Origami Bat. In case you haven't noticed, there's this little pocket in the back right here. Alright, this back pocket, you can actually put your finger in that and it becomes a finger puppet. Something else you can do, the feet can curl over a little bit, so you can, in theory, hang it on edges of things like a computer screen or whatever. So they're fun decoration for Halloween. So anyway guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. That tells me that you liked the content and I will be sure to produce more of it. So I wanted to wish you all a happy and a safe Halloween. So until next time, I will see you in the next tutorial.